Rachel Miller, and a couple of weeks ago we hosted a volunteer information event at the marquee at Ivybridge Rugby Club. For those who couldn't make it or weren't aware, the feedback from those who attended said that the information was really important to get out to the membership. So a way that we might be able to do this is by recording it so people can watch it back in their own time. They also commented on the fact that actually it wasn't just about volunteers, and the information shared was a far wider rugby club update that they thought was really crucial for the membership to be aware of and potentially want to be involved in. So that's another reason why we're doing this. As I said, I'm Rachel Miller. I am the women's captain at Ivybridge. I've also recently taken on the volunteer coordinator role, and then I also sit within the events team as well. Wider than that, my day job is I work for the RFU as the local club developer for Devon and Cornwall. So just come from that RFU perspective as well, and bringing that knowledge and experience. Adam Windsor is the events manager, and this is part of the team that you can see on screen. Nigel Cross is the club steward. You'll also probably see him working behind the bar. He's also the manager of that staff and setup as well. And then Sophie and Joe are your marketing individuals. So Joe's recently come on board. Sophie's been steering this for a couple of years now. So I'm sure you will all agree that our social media has evolved and progressed and is looking a lot more consistent, and we're sharing far more information across our platforms now as well. Adam leads on, so we would class these as sort of our big events that happen yearly throughout Ivybridge. We very recently had the fireworks evening at Ivybridge Rugby Club, which was a big success. So these are some other events that we've got planned and some ones for the future that we haven't yet run yet. So as you can see, we've got Burley Festival, and there's some examples of volunteer support that we will need for the day. So our aim from this meeting was to sort of gain a group of volunteers who don't want to commit themselves to a specific role or have any titles, but are just happy to sit within a platform or a group where we can drop volunteer opportunities in, and then you can align yourselves to whatever interests you or whatever time you have. So that's sort of the aim of this, and these events give you an idea of what volunteer time might be wanted and needed in the future. An Ivybridge Fun Day. So again, we've got some dates on there as well, so people can start looking ahead and planning that. And then hopefully in the future, we're wanting to host things like outdoor cinemas, especially with the Women's Home World Cup coming up. I think that's a really key date for us as a rugby club, and that's something that we can sort of pair with it. We want to host a music festival. Some of you might remember we had the Wurzels during COVID, which was really successful, even though it was during COVID. So we know that we can make that bigger and better now that those restrictions have been lifted. And then also things like gala dinners as well. We are looking at entering into our 50th year celebration next season, so maybe pairing a gala dinner with that type of event. Classes are more of our community engagement, so Nigel has is more in charge of these sort of events, and I'm hoping you've seen a real shift in them being promoted more through our social media. Now, when I say community, obviously Ivybridge Rugby Club has a huge membership, and that's also included in that wording. Naturally, anything that we run at the rugby club, which is for the community, will always be open and available to our members, unless it's a private booking and function. But anything like this will always be open to members, so you're naturally going to see the benefits to us hosting these community events. I'm sure you agree, anyone who went to the Halloween party, we were training at that period, and it looked and sounded amazing, and from the feedback we got, it was a really great evening and was received really, really well. Carols with Carol, I've only heard how brilliant this is, and I look forward to attending the event this year, and I'm also personally booked onto wreath making for this Sunday. So now that we have extended our facility with regards to the marquee side of things, it just allows us to host these events, and it has less challenges with the booking of the rugby club as well. It also means that we can host bigger events as well, due to the space and facility size that we have, and also multiple events at the same time. Some ones which don't currently have a poster made up for it is New Year's Eve. We're just in discussions with that currently. Obviously, end of season, we'll be looking at hosting that within the marquee. We do have a date for that already out though. A Ladies' Day, that's something that we're currently discussing. It's something we really want to do, so that will be done on a senior men's match day, with obviously the women not playing the next day as well. And then some of you might have already attended. We do have external quizzes that get booked, and something that we want to make more of a regular offer for everyone at Ivybridge. Early Travel have sponsored some volunteer workforce tops for us. So we currently have those and are going to be handing them out at any volunteer events that we run. The aim of this is to make it really obvious that individual is volunteering their time. It creates a bit of like a workforce team atmosphere when you all sort of are wearing the same thing. It gives you a bit of an identity as well. And we've added the QR code on the back so that if anyone then is interested and sees someone volunteering and then wants to get involved, they can scan the QR code, which takes them to a form to sign up. So we're hoping that that process becomes a lot slicker and a lot easier for people to access volunteering opportunities. From the meeting that we had, we did have some individuals attend who currently weren't part of the rugby club, but sort of are within the Ivybridge community and do have some time that they want to give. So by us walking around in these t-shirts, we're naturally promoting those opportunities as well. So that's really good. And if anyone's interested or would like a t-shirt, please do get in contact. But we just foresee this workforce, or whatever you'd like to call it, this group of individuals who are willing to give up some time for the club. We see it growing and growing and becoming more established. And as that happens, we can look at the reward side of things. And for those who were involved in fireworks, I do already hope that you've seen a real difference in the communication beforehand, during the event and after, and the provision around that. We are trying to make it better, smoother, so that if you do volunteer your time, there is a small token of gratitude and reward to say thank you for your efforts and the time that you've given. It's always extremely appreciated, and we're doing as much as we can as a community rugby club to be able to provide some provision to say thank you. All recently seen introduction of Volunteer of the Month, so this is something that I'm leading as well. We obviously currently had our 3 and we've got the December one to go for this year. So again, it's a small token of gratification to say thank you for all your hard work. And I think the most important element of it is the fact that it's nominated. So some of these individuals I wasn't aware of, and I didn't know what roles that they did within the rugby club. So it's been really, really good to be able to read those nominations coming through and hopefully recognise some individuals who maybe the wider membership just aren't aware of how much they do or what they do. I think us recognising each other is so important to say thank you. And again, we've very kindly been sponsored by Unit 8, the local gym within Ivybridge. They've sponsored it so we can gift a token of £50 worth, and that looks like multiple different things, either discounted membership, £50 off Unit 8 and some other things as well. But again, it's just a small token to say thank you, but I think it's really important, and the engagement on these posts have been really high. So I think it just shows that it's the type of content that the membership are looking for, and I'm just hoping it's been a really beneficial and positive introduction this season, and something that we'll be able to continue in the future. That I think a lot of the membership probably aren't aware of. Communication within the rugby club is something that's definitely discussed within board and committee meetings, and obviously I've only recently joined those meetings, so can only feed back on my experience. It's something that we definitely want to improve and get better at, and this volunteer event that we ran a couple of years ago was a start. I think potentially we titled it wrong, and actually we could have just called it an Ivybridge club update, and whether that would have attracted a more of the membership, I'm not sure. And it's something we'll continue to do, so we can host regular contact with membership who wants to attend and find out a bit more about the wider things that are happening at the rugby club. We can hopefully answer any questions then, and also we gained some really good feedback from those individuals who did attend with some future ideas that we can take forward, and that's really key for us, to just hear from you. So like I said, we will be running more. Communication is definitely hot on our agenda to try and improve, and this is sort of one thing that we're trialing in the hope that we will be able to get more information out to you, so you have a better understanding about sort of what's going on at a different level, not just the rugby side of things. So as the title alludes to on the screen, we have gained a social space grant from the RFU. So this looks like a £20,000 project. We gained £10,000 from the RFU, and then we provide £10,000 as well. From an Ivybridge Rugby Club side of things, that £10,000 doesn't just have to be cash. It can also be materials and time in kind. So just an example, if one of our sponsors was able to give us some timber. The amount would have been £5,000 worth, but actually they're going to give it to us for £500. We would upfront that to say, actually, Ivybridge have already put £5,000 worth towards it, and it works exactly the same for the time in kind as well. Any painters and decorators, if your time would have been £20 an hour and you charged us £10 an hour, we would submit that it was the cost of £20 an hour. So that's how we can provide our side of the funding as well. So what does that look like? We had an interior designer who's been working with the RFU come down to Ivybridge to have a look. So this grant is to do with the Impact 2025 Women's World Cup. So it is largely about how we attract more females to the rugby club. And that's wider than just players. That is parents, obviously, and anyone who might just want to be a part of the Ivybridge Rugby Club community. How can we make it a nicer experience for them? And again, naturally, like I said at the start of the presentation, this will improve all aspects. So our membership will benefit from any grant, any funding, anything that we receive, regardless of whether it's targeted at a specific demographic. But there are some changes that we're specifically making, which through research do historically attract more females, which is what we want. Anyone who's visiting the club from another rugby club, we just want their experience to be the best it can be, and we can make small changes to ensure that that happens. So as the example that I've got on the screen, this is Hornets RFC. We'll be doing something similar to our upstairs clubhouse bar. So we'll be panelling the front, painting it Ivybridge green, and then obviously getting the lettering as well. Small changes like adding mirrors to the background and some chalkboards means that when you enter in the clubhouse, it's a really attractive area that your eye travels to. We can put lights on the mirrors, and that sort of makes the room feel bigger, look bigger, and changes the dimensions of it with the aspect of lighting as well. The integration of blackboards means that we can put any drinks deals on there. We can also add any information around the type of drinks that we have. Again, hopefully making the experience easier and better for individuals to see what type of drinks that we have available, and if there is a drink there that they're going to want to drink. So that's an example. We will also be doing something very similar into the marquee as well, but this will be a lot more neutral colours. The marquee obviously is going to be a very multifunctional space, and is always for the membership and open for the membership when there aren't any private functions. But we are aiming to keep the colours more neutral in that space for obvious reasons. But we'll be doing a very similar look. We had another partner of the RFU with regards to furniture. They work with all the UK suppliers in the country, so obviously can access a vast range of different furniture. So they visited the rugby club, and with regards to our clubhouse, they did say due to the fact that it's utilised so much and needs to be able to be moved a lot, there wasn't a lot more that we could do with the furniture in the clubhouse. It functions well. Obviously the upgrade with regards to the recent seats has been received really positively and looks much more better and uniformed, and it functions how we need and want it to. The upgrade of the higher tables near the bar was also really good feedback. So you know, with regards to the clubhouse space, there's not a lot more we can do, and he was impressed with what we've got so far, so that was positive. So we're looking at the marquee space. Now, I'm sure most of you who have been in there have seen that we do have the same round tables and matching seats in the space, which is great for obviously our aim in the future to host weddings in there and larger events. That's absolutely perfect. So we're looking at the more softer seating type of style. The middle picture of the high table, it's called a poser table. Again, we'll be adding more of those near the bar in the marquee. So we're looking at sort of 6 tables with 4 chairs around that. Through feedback, that different heights throughout the space is also going to break it up. It is obviously a large space to fill, can feel quite empty at this point due to the fact we haven't got any decorations. So by adding a different eye line, that also assists with that. And then I don't have a picture of it, but we are looking at getting some banquet sofas. So they're similar to the leather ones near the window in the clubhouse, but they'll be a softer material, and probably also have like a buttoning detail as well, and they will also be in neutral colours. The aim of this is we've recently put a presentation opportunity within the marquee, so we'll be looking at hosting and putting on obviously any big rugby games, also football as well, because we have multiple different screens within there, so we can make it a really great entertaining space when there are big games on. So with that, we do want to have some more lower comfortable seating. These will be able to interlock as well and create a bit of like a nice U around that area, and we can then obviously have the higher poser tables behind. And then for larger events, they can easily fit within the corner if that isn't what someone wanted. So that's sort of an addition that we're looking to have within the marquee as well. Is a really large space, so again, other ways that we can look at making it a little bit more, not so smaller, but just more homely, is by adding some faux plants in sort of big planters. So there'll be things that we'll be looking to add using the social space grant as well within the marquee. Sort of external to the marquee, as part of the social space grant, we do want to extend the patio so it sort of sweeps round the front of the marquee as well. This will then be lined with planters to just help break up the eye line and make it really clear that this is sort of a seating area. As you can see the top right, I think it'd be nice that we can then frame that area with some lighting as well, especially in the summer. You know, we'd certainly call it a beer garden, and we're definitely talking and having discussions about inviting food vans each week. So every Friday we'd invite a different food van down, and then it gives the opportunity for the membership and community to sort of come down, sit, and hopefully it will be a really nice space, have access to drinks, and then also a food van and some nice food available. So that's sort of long-term aims as well. Up lighting as well around the marquee and also near the front of the clubhouse to ensure that it's really clear and easy how you access the front of the clubhouse. I'm sure you've all seen as well our recent post about help name our marquee. We're just sort of looking through all of those votes at the moment and deciding where we go with that. But thank you again for being involved. It's why we want to get you involved in this, so you feel a part of it. Once that name has been decided, we will obviously add that to the front and back of the marquee, so it's really clear and easy when people do come and there is an event in the marquee. We can obviously title it and name it so people can get there a lot quicker and easier. So we're just costing everything up with regards to the social space grant, and it might be that there's a phased approach to a few things depending on what the eventual total looks like. Our aim is to get the marquee looking like the pictures. So this is Newton Abbot Rugby Club. So obviously the drapery, the fixed dance floor, so we can host those bigger, larger events. That's our aim. The drapes can't be purchased with this specific social space grant. But I, again, just wanted to share with the membership where we're looking at going, what we're aspiring to, and what we're wanting to do with the marquee and its aim. There are some other small changes around the clubhouse with regards to the social space grant, some painting, different colours, and then as you walk in where the toilets are, changing that brickwork to a mural of our Ivybridge Rugby Club offer. So there'll be multiple different pictures. I think it's in the next, here we go. It's on this slide. So this is Teignmouth's example. They've recently been through it. They actually decided just to do the toilet doors, but it gives you a good idea of sort of what we could get to. We would do it on both sides of the entrance, and like I said, it wouldn't just be your senior players. We'd definitely sure we'd have representation of everyone at the rugby club, and show how inclusive and the size of our rugby club, and obviously anyone pictured would have consent to be on the wall. I just think as you walk in, that's sort of your first experience of Ivybridge Rugby Club, and I definitely think we can utilise the space a lot better. It can be more vibrant and really clear what we have to offer. So I'm really excited about the potential of this. A phased approach. Clubhouse toilets cannot be included in the social space grant, so this would be something that we would look to do after. You can see the before and after of Leamington RFC. I do think the before looks very similar to what we currently provide, and to get to the after, it's surprising that it actually doesn't take as much as you would think. Wicks have a community grant where you can ask for certain items and they would discount that, or it could be free. So I think a little bit of paint, some panelling, some tiling, and I think we could really turn both the toilets around as well. So on top of the social space grant and that investment, that's something that we're looking at doing in the future as well. And I think that would be a really nice journey for anyone who visits the rugby club. That really wow factor entrance through into the toilets, some minor changes within the clubhouse just to freshen it up and make it a bit more modern, and then trying to complete our marquee so it's just a little bit getting to the stage of being complete. So that's sort of our aim, and that is the end of the slideshow. What I do want to say is, again, from a committee and board perspective, and at every meeting that I've attended, we are very, very aware that actually changing rooms is probably the biggest need within the rugby club, and are always having conversations and discussing about how timelines to what extent we can provide this and things like that. Now, the RFU Social Space Grant obviously was an offer to us. It was an opportunity that we didn't think we could refuse. And the marquee investment for us is something that will provide and enable us to do the changing room project in the future. That to us needs to be a near future thing. So we're looking at multiple different options of how we could do the changing rooms. And what cost that entitles to and things like that. So I just wanted to make it really clear that communication to the membership and changing rooms is a huge priority within the board and committee, and is very much a discussion and topic at every meeting. Everything that I've spoken about during this presentation, it sounds like we're almost not looking at that and doing everything bar that, but it is all interlinked, because by providing better provision and making our social spaces look and feel better, we will naturally and hopefully attract more. As the events showed, we are doing more than we ever have with regards to engaging the community and putting rugby events on at the club, getting more people through the door, more people seeing the marquee and spaces that we have to offer, in the hope that we will get more bookings in the near future. And all of that means the revenue that we can generate from these things will always be invested back into rugby. And for us, the priority would be changing rooms. Like I said, there's really challenging conversations about which way do we go. Every changing room has to be RFU compliant. So there's restrictions around the sizing and things like that, which does have its challenges with our current spacing. Extension wise, and everything to do with altering our changing rooms will be a massive cost and a massive change. So we've also got to look at the timelines carefully as well, so we disrupt as little of as our playing as possible, due to obviously the usage that the changing rooms get. Again, some feedback from those who did attend was really valid about our youth section and getting them involved a little bit more and making sure they really feel a part of the rugby club, and how valid and how much we truly care about them as a youth section, and the provision that they provide to us, and the fact that they are essentially the future of the rugby club, which is incredibly important. Some people would have seen that we're also linking with the Rotary Club to do some Christmas collections, in which there'll be a donation to the youth side. So anyone who wants to get involved in that, you know who we are now. So please, if anyone wants to be a part of the events team, you can always join. If you just want to lead a particular project, or if you have any ideas, please get in contact. We're very open to any suggestions. We are all volunteers ourselves, and we all have full-time jobs. Some of us are obviously still playing as well. So we do say bear with us. We're not going to be able to do everything. We're trying new things as well. Not everything's going to work. Not everything's going to be received positively by everyone, but everything that we do has the best intentions of Ivybridge Rugby Club, and we hope that that will be perceived positively. Please do come say hello to us if you see any of us in the rugby club, and open to any suggestions or feedback. Thank you to those who have watched and listened to this, and I hope I see some of you soon. Thank you.